And that's when I said, he's no good to me dead.
Hello and welcome to episode 30, 33 of the Slalt Cast. Joseph is Boba Fett today. It's also our Christmas episode and Kaden burped. I'm Daniel, I'm the host. Who are the rest of you guys?
I'm Coby, I'm the co-host.
I don't know if I'd call you the co-host.
I'd say he's the co-host.
What does that make?
We're all
It means
co-hosts.
that he does a little bit more than Joseph and I.
No, we're all co-hosts.
I'm the host.
Yeah, so we'd be
Hey, who's that talking? Down there.
How have you already fucked up?
Hi,
How have you already fucked up the flow of this podcast?
Kaden, say your name.
I'm Kaden.
And who was Boba Fett?
Jeremy Corbyn. No, that's not his name.
His name's Joseph. So, I lied to you guys. I told a fib when I said I couldn't do the podcast last night. I said it's because I was busy. But in fact, what occurred was a rather, let's call it embarrassing tale. A lot of physical pain on my part. I've been living with this for the past couple days. So what I'm going to get everyone to do is, if you're here in the chat, join the Discord. Have your eyes on general. For you boys, be looking on general. And for the people who are watching the episode, either jump in the Discord or I'll probably post it on Instagram.
Or maybe you should also edit it in to the video podcast.
Sounds like a lot of effort. I don't know if we'll be able to post this on YouTube either. Anyway, I'm going to upload a photo, and this is the reason.
What is it?
This is the reason that I could not do the podcast yesterday.
If it's not your penis snapped in half.
Well, how the fuck did you do that?
That is my ass right now.
How rough is Brooke?
So for context.
All right, no. So for audio listeners, it's a massive red
mark
on Dan's
bruise
ass.
that takes up about 60%, 70% of my ass cheek.
Why does it look like a monster's eye?
So yesterday, that was taken today. I got Brooke to take that for me today, who said romance is dead. Yesterday it was, I have another photo I can send. It was smaller, but it was like purple, and it was a lot more swollen. This one has a lot more of my ass in it. I'm sorry. Yeah. You don't have to look if you don't want to, but I think it's...
You should put the spoiler tag on it. That's what you should
How do I do that in Discord?
I don't know.
Anyway, so what happened was we had our friend's 21st at a pub.
Wait. Can you upload the other one?
I'm gonna do it while I'm talking.
Okay, good on you.
So we had our friend's 21st at a pub on Saturday night, and afterwards I went back. Jesus Christ, Joseph. Afterwards, I went back to my girlfriend's place and it didn't work. Oh well, you see my ass.
Oh, why is there a cut?
Yep.
Did you sit on glass?
Ow.
Okay.
No. It looks like someone's whipped you.
We went back to Brooke's house, and Brooke lives in an apartment complex.
Did Brooke hurt you?
I'm gonna get there.
Maybe we should let him tell.
So we spent the night there. You know, we had a lot of fun at the 21st. Got home.
A lot of fun at the part.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Techno. I guess we know each other a lot better now. We get home from the pub and we go chill. It's fine. Go to bed. Wake up the next day. Chill a bit. I had to leave fairly early because I had things. I had things on yesterday, and Brooke had things on yesterday. So it was raining slightly. And the ground was moistened. So to leave her apartment complex, it's kind of elevated above the street, and there's a staircase consisting of roughly 10 stairs. I counted today, exactly 10 stairs.
Oh no!
I was descending the stairs, and they were slick with the rain. These stairs are piled, and my shoes did not have a lot of traction.
Shit.
I make it down perhaps 6 of the stairs. If we number them 0 to 9 on the bottom, I'm on stair 3. I'm a programmer. I started at 0. I apologize.
Yeah, why? That doesn't make sense for stairs.
We call them stairs 1 to 10. I'm on stair 4. My feet leave me. They abandoned me in my moment of need, and I'm carrying a lot of things. I'm carrying a jacket and PJs. So I'm walking down. I was going with the pace of a man who was far more confident than he should have been. Both of my feet go out from under me, and then my instincts kick in and I tuck the head, because I don't want to smack my head on these stairs. I cleared the remaining 3 stairs, almost. My left arse cheek lands on, like, the edge, like the corner of the stair. Takes the full brunt of the impact. It was brutal. It was fucking awful. The ground moistened. I sat there in pain for a couple moments. I thought I was gonna cry. It hurt so fucking bad.
Ow.
So I'm sitting there in pain. And I was like, fuck, this is awful. It's like a 40-minute drive home. I stand up. I can barely fucking walk. The number of expletives I let fly was phenomenal. My vocabulary is deeper than I once thought.
Fantastic.
I hobble my way back to my car, which I couldn't get a park close to the front of the bar, so I had to walk like 50 meters.
Did you go back up to Brooke?
I was going to, but my pride was as hurt as my butthole.
I was going to say, because that would almost add insult to injury if you went back up to her and be like,
you got noise gated at a very funny time. Did your microphone disconnect, Kaden? Can you speak again?
I hurt my bottom.
That first picture, it doesn't look like you fell down flights of stairs.
No, it looks like I was a wife in the
stairs.
50s and I talked during the footy.
Oh, okay. Alright. Oh, Jesus.
As it should be.
No.
We are
on Twitch. TV/Slalt Cast.
Yeah.
Okay, just quickly, who took the first photo?
The first photo was taken by Brooke today.
No. Like the first in chronological order.
My sister. So I'm gonna get there. So I get to my car, which was like a decent for a man with an ass that sore. It was a decent walk. I get to my car, I sit down, and the pain was immense.
I was gonna say it'd be very funny if you walked in after being out with Brooke and all her friends, clutching your ass cheek, walking through the front door, being like,
That would come across a lot differently to Brooke's friends, I imagine.
So I get in the car, the pain's immense. At that moment, I accept my death. I accept that if I have to pull like a quick braking maneuver on the ride home, my reflexes aren't in a place where I'll be able to do that. So there's like a 60% chance I'll die on the way home. And the fact that you're seeing this podcast proves that didn't happen. So of course, there was traffic on the drive home. It took longer than it needed to.
And this, fellas, is why you don't need girlfriends.
Sorry, I've just been interrupted.
Yep.
I survived the drive home. That was the first victory. I make it home. I walk in, clutching my butt, and you know, because the pain was unbelievable. And I'd sent a Snapchat to Brooke, and I was like, I'd hurt my bum, and she laughed at me. So I was like, no sympathy there. No sympathy there. So I make it home. I believe my sister and my father were home. And I walk in, I immediately lowered my Dax, and I said, look at my butt. And they said, Jesus Christ, what happened? And I told them the story.
A big burly black man.
I had a shower, because I'm for those who haven't seen the image, the impact created with such force that it caused an incision in my cheek. It broke skin. So I was like, this is close to my butt, I better clean the wound. I mean, hey, it's just sensible. So I have a shower. It was unbelievably swollen. I like to think I already have a voluptuous ass. My left cheek was about 1.5 times the size of the right cheek.
Could you have donated some to Joseph, perhaps?
I could have. You mean, it's still swollen and in a lot of pain. If you see me fidgeting around in my chair, that's why. So I have a shower, and I sit down on the side of my bed. And immediately regret that decision. You know, the fire of 1,000 suns greeted my rectum. So I proceeded to spend the rest of the day holding ice on my butt, lying on either my bed or the floor, moaning. I couldn't have pants because it's like my upper butt, lower back caught the brunt. So it was swollen. I couldn't wear pants because the waistbands were hurting. They were fucking... I spent a good part of the day yesterday lying on my sister's floor with my ass in the air, just kind of like moaning in pain. And then Coby was like,
"Do you want to go back?
It was funny. She was laughing at me. And then
do you want to go back? Do you want to go back in time?
No, this entire story is way more fucked up without context.
Oh, it's hilarious. And then so Coby messages the group chat. He's like, "Oh, we're doing the pod tonight because you guys had a gig. It was cancelled. You got another gig, and then that gig got cancelled."
I messaged the chat.
Someone messaged the chat, and
Get
then
your story right.
And then Coby was like, "Yes, I can do it again now," because I thought I was out. I thought I would be able to hide this.
No.
And then I was like, "Oh no, I'm out. I'm out. I can't do it." And so the second image that was sent in the Discord was what it looked like at that point. I wake up this morning and the swelling had reduced slightly, but the bruising had increased greatly, and that is where we end up to the second picture. And the reason that we didn't stream tonight was because I was like, I'm not going to be able to sit in a chair for 3 hours. It's like enough. So I'll not stream. I can probably last an hour. I had to do some driving today, so I knew that I could survive the hour. But if you see me shifting in my chair, that is the cause.
So instead, I streamed today.
Twitch.tv/55Coby55.
Yeah. All right. Your weekend sounds awful, Dan, but that was only Sunday, as I imagine.
It was Sunday. The injury happened, and we're recording this on a Monday, and I'm still living with the consequences. I have work tomorrow, so.
You have to stand at work though, don't you?
Yeah. My weekend, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Not to diminish your problem. My weekend was exponentially worse.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So, did we talk about me building my computer on the last podcast? I forget.
I don't know if we got into it because I was still kind of in the throes of it.
Yeah.
That was midweek. That wasn't just weekend. This saga evolved.
Yeah. This is like an entire week.
From like Tuesday night onwards.
Mm-hmm. So I've built my new computer and it wouldn't turn on. I know everything was plugged in because I watched the Linus Tech Tips video, and then I went, and then Joseph and Daniel got on their fucking high horse and were like, "You didn't build it outside of the computer.
You did it. It's not a high horse.
You got to think
You
didn't learn from like professional builders. We just watched.
Yeah, but you sent me that video and said follow this and everything should work.
Did you send him the same video you sent me?
Yes.
Yes, the POV video.
Yes.
And then also the POV PC building.
It sounds
video.
funny when you call it a POV video because
yeah.
Guys.
Right, and I did because porn. Porn.
Pornographic. Did you see that Pornhub deleted like a good percentage of their content?
I don't know because I've lost my favorite video. I'm not joking. I've searched for it. I can't find it. I'm so upset.
Just go on X videos, dude.
You know how many times that happens, Joseph? How many times you find something like this is great, and then you go to find it again, and it's not there, and you're like, "Where?"
Like you typed in the same. You typed in the same exact thing you like search, but you can't. Move on.
Anyway, I got frustrated with my computer. To go on your point, I did extra research to like install my cooler because that wasn't in that.
Hey, Coby, spoiler: are you holding your on button right now?
I'm holding my on button, so everything was plugged in, and it didn't turn on. So I shipped it to Dan. I got my bass player in my band, Boma, to ship it to Dan.
But you sent me a text message saying he's coming, and I was asleep.
And
he arrived at my house, and I was still asleep. And I was asleep fully clothed because I was very tired, but I had to go out later. So he was probably very confused because I got out of bed and I was wearing like pants and a button-up shirt.
I did call you before I sent
yeah, and then I went to sleep.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dan diagnosed the problem, and then
Almost
I came to pick it up. Yep.
Are we gonna dive into what the problem is?
So the connection for the on button of the case is broken. I don't know. It could be in the cord itself, but I'm pretty sure it's just the end there.
Coby, I probably could have fixed it, but I didn't want to take out your radiator and look. So I don't know where it's broken. I just know the power button's broken.
Yeah, right. So to bridge the two pins, I need a flathead screwdriver.
So are you operating with no side panel at the moment?
No, you
unscrew it every time?
No, I just keep it on for 3 days, then turn it off. That's my plan.
Is there
now.
a way for you to be able to show us right now using the camera?
Oh, this is going to be a fucking.
Well, he's
mission.
going to have to turn off his computer.
No, I'm not.
No.
Actually, no. Yeah, no. That. What? Are you stupid? No. because like I've got my second monitor in front of it. And getting the framing and
Basically,
continuity and
what
shit like that.
how a computer's on button works is there's 2 pins on a motherboard, and when you press the power button, it electrically bridges the 2 pins, like closing a circuit, and then the computer knows like I should turn on now. Generally when you build a computer, you build it outside of the case first to test that everything works. And the way that you turn it on when you do that is you get a screwdriver, because you haven't plugged it into your case yet. You get a screwdriver and you just, because it's like a metal bit at the end, you bridge the 2 pins and it turns it on. So I was actually fixing 2 computers at the same time when did fix Coby's computer. So I had 2 computers that wouldn't power on. And I wanted to test the power supply on the computer that was not Coby's. So I used Coby's power supply. I connected it, just the motherboard power, to this other computer. And then I turned on the other computer. The other computer still wouldn't turn on. But the interesting thing I noticed was on Coby's computer, all of the lights in the case came on. So I was like, ooh, hang on. Because like his like radiator and stuff and his graphics card are all still plugged into this other power supply. I was like, hang on. Mm-hmm. The computer's fine. Something's going wrong somewhere else. So I reconnected it all up, and I was like, I really don't want to have to take it apart because Coby had gone and like cable tied everything down without knowing the computer turned on or not, which has made it very frustrating to build.
I don't understand that either.
What do you mean you don't?
Coby, it makes it 10 times harder to make
Then just undo the cable ties.
The cable ties where they actually tie. I'd have to cut them.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, but then
I've got more.
Anyway, so I'm like, okay.
At least you've learned. It's learning.
I was like, I'm gonna do it like it's not in the case, but it'll be in the case. So I took out everything. I didn't want to take up the CPU cooler, but like I took out the graphics card and everything. I unplugged all of the case power connectors and stuff, and I turned it on with a screwdriver, and it turned on immediately. I was like, I've solved your problem, good sir. So I put everything back in, turned it on again with a screwdriver. I'm like, yep. It's just literally the power button in the case is broken. Anyway, so the computer was collected by you. What happens next in the story, Coby?
So I take it home and I go, sweet, it's all good. We're fine. We're going well. And before I shipped it to Dan, I forgot about one. This was that morning. I forgot to put my SSD in, which is which has my copy of Windows.
Drive. It has his operating system on it.
It has my Windows OS on it. But I didn't really consider that at the time, and I just kind of plugged in the SATA cable in the SSD, but not into the motherboard because my graphics card is a chunky boy. It's like that thick.
3070. Hey, imagine being 21 and 6 days and then not having a 30 series graphics card. Joseph, can you imagine that?
Can you imagine that, Joseph? So I was like, oh, Dan might see that and be like, hey, yeah, no, I can just plug that in for you real quick, buddy, quick, smart. And I was like, it's easy job. I bring my computer back, I turn it back on, and it's not on Windows. It's not on window. And that's because Dan took out the SATA cable and I'm going to
defend myself. The SATA cable was not plugged into anything. It must have just been loose in the back of your computer. Because I had both of the computers open and I had a lot of SATA cables on the ground because there were a lot of hard drives plugged into the other computer I was working on. And so I just presumed that was one of my SATA cables because I just saw it on the floor. And that's so I'm fair. Like, oh, and Coby told me everything else was connected, so I didn't think I had to plug in any drives or anything.
It may have become disconnected at some point because I do remember.
Connected it.
No, I definitely remember
SATA
connecting.
cables do not just come out.
No, they clip in. They have a clipping mechanism.
Yes, and I clipped it in. So I don't know what happened. Why are you like accusing me of lying? Like, what a stupid thing
have
for
you
me
ever
to lie
lied about computers before, Coby?
No.
Yes, you fucking have, you little bitch.
Anyway, so I had to the next day I had to pick up the SATA cable. I connected that bad boy. I had to reset my GPU because like it wouldn't have fit. Like I'd have to do all that, so I felt pretty accomplished after doing that. And it's still turning on. But now I use this screwy boy to turn it on. And I just keep it on. So then that took me to Friday. And then we were gearing up for a gig on Sunday.
Big one, like a big venue.
a big venue, a proper venue, and we were doing it with different bands, and it was going to be exciting. I was very excited because Joseph and I went to TAFE with a couple of guys from each of those bands. I remember talking about this on a recent podcast, but see, someone
poison the water hole.
Someone in a place called the Northern Beaches. It's where cunts live. Not just because of the situation we're in at the moment.
No,
it's
that's
just
quite
because
generalizing.
But they're also like it's the insular peninsula,
Yeah,
it's a bunch of rich people
like
that don't leave the
Shire.
northern beaches. Hey, shut up!
Yeah.
We're not talking about that.
So it's so one of them decided to get COVID and then go to an RSL.
It was by choice.
Yep.
So make that very
Then go
clear.
to an RSL.
Went and found it, came back.
Fucking infected 1 million people, and then now we're back in lockdown.
So
Well, we're not
someone
back
from
in
the northern
lockdown.
beaches got COVID. This is New
Uh-huh.
South Wales, by the way, for people who don't know where
Yep.
we're from. I think there's 26 cases at the moment.
Mhm.
There's also cases closer to us. So the
Yeah.
Cronulla RSL, Cronulla being a suburb
as
near
a
us.
zone as well.
Yes, so I had one of the... we're supposed to be doing Christmas Day at my auntie's house, and then her son, my cousin, was at the Cronulla RSL the same time that dude was there.
Oh,
So our Christmas Day plans have kind of been thrown for a loop.
now.
He got tested negative for COVID, but he's still supposed to isolate for 14 days.
yeah.
Yeah, they keep it safe.
Yeah.
And that just fucking sucks. I'm just not in a good
That's
mood.
pretty rough, man.
Yeah.
I know how you feel. It's fucked.
Yeah. Bet you do know how I feel. Yeah, Kaden. Yeah. Oh, imagine missing out on a gig.
That's a segue into.
Is that supposed to be a dig or a segue?
That's a
Now
segue.
I'm coughing. Fuck with.
Do you have COVID?
Ah!
Well, you are north. One of the
And
names.
almost near a beach. I don't know how close to the beach you are. I haven't been to your house.
Oh,
It's pretty close. It's
Damn.
pretty. It'd be pretty close.
So,
pretty
Kaden, you
close.
said you had an interesting weekend.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Very interesting. We had the first weekend that we could actually go out and dance properly.
And how was that?
And
What a coincidence that it just so happens to coincide with the weekend where COVID cases are spreading in New South Wales.
yeah! So
Why are you yelling?
because things suck.
Why
We
are
had
you
the first
yelling?
weekend basically. We had the first weekend basically where we're able to go out and dance and have fun. And our mates were putting on a single release party last weekend. Technically, yeah. Which we were going to, and it became more exciting now the fact that we could go and dance and enjoy ourselves. Because before you could really just kind of stand there with a beer in hand and just look like this, or you could just sit down. And it was kind of shit for a lot of bands that built a lot of shit on crowd interaction. So we were looking forward to it. So Saturday night we went up. There was a lot of bands that we kind of already knew were already playing. There was one band that we didn't know that we met, and they were really good and really cool. But it was fun, and things started to get really, really full. Like the place started to get to max capacity, which was sick, and it was the first time in a long time that place has been at full capacity.
That's
and
cool.
you've been able to dance. So it was really exciting, and we always go there. So it was so fun to see, and we knew a lot of people that were there already. So we were dancing, having a good time. Obviously, people were taking it a bit too far, and that being said, everyone was very drunk, us including, so we probably didn't help. But the whole idea with the dancing was you kind of had to keep a bit of distance between each other.
No grinding.
But when you're playing with...
No, there's a bug on my desk, and I realized there's a bug on my desk.
What kind of bug?
I was like, is that one of my picks? Is that one of my guitar picks? And I went to poke it and it moved. I'm gonna go get mummy.
Are you serious?
No, I'm gonna go get some toilet paper. I'll be back.
Just flick it.
No, he's
Continue your story.
Oh, fuck it. He can go. I'll continue the story.
Just continue.
We weren't helping to the fact that you had to keep a distance because the bands that were playing were all pretty loud and heavy and moshy. So us not being able to dance for so long kind of wanted to throw hands.
That means fight. Don't say that.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do.
Oh, you
That's
wanted
what
to
do in a
fight?
mosh. You want to fight in a mosh, bro?
I'm
Let's
just
fucking throw some
vibing.
hands. Let's go. So for the first band, it was kind of tame. For the second band, it started to get a little heavier. For the third band, which was our mate's band, it started to get pretty full on.
Hang on, I want to watch Coby catch this bug. I'm gonna narrate this. Put your headphones on. Yeah, put your headphones on, big boy.
I'm so scared.
Okay, he's slowly
Is it
reaching
like a
in.
big bug? Is it a little?
Can you
bug?
identify the species of bug?
I'll show you. Can you see it?
It's a cockroach.
Yes.
Okay, you could have
Oh,
said.
well, fucking.
Just flick it.
Alright, it's moving. It's live. Oh, it ran.
You fucking.
It's gone. It's fucking gone. You fuck.
If you guys are just listening to this, I apologize. Head over to the Slalt Cast YouTube channel. The links are on like our Twitch, our Instagram, and everything. And jump to this time code and watch it because Coby just lost a war.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I'm scared.
He's gonna-
I'm actually terrified. I'm actually fucking
It's gonna lay eggs in your ear.
Are
while
you
sleep.
actually terrified?
Because it's. What if it lays eggs in my fucking computer case? I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna be
Compressed
so
air, it
upset.
fixes everything.
Oh fuck.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I just was waiting for you to get scared myself.
Fuck me.
So you're dancing. You're throwing hands.
So
you're moshing.
by the time the third band come on, everything started to get a little bit more chaotic. We started to mosh and we started to push each other around and throw each other around, and we kind of weren't allowed to. So the security came up to us and was like, "Okay, look, you guys have got to stop. You've got to keep a distance, respect the rules, blah blah blah." And we're like, "Yep, fuck, sorry, my bad, all good." Last band came on and we were all pretty good. Nothing crazy, a little closer, but nothing really too bad. Me and a mate were like kind of just throwing hands at each other, punching and having fun, and other people were like pushing each other around, but it was nothing to the point of full-blown moshing. Finally, the last band put on their single release, which was why everyone was there. It's the first single in a while, and it's a new sound, kind of almost like a revamp.
Speaking of single, guy,
Hey.
hit him up. Anyway.
So it comes to the last, like pretty much the last song of the set. And they have a really heavy breakdown in the set, and everyone just went ballistic. Everyone's like, fuck, it's the last band, it's the last song, we need to go nuts. So everyone's throwing each other around, we're moshing, we're jumping on top of each other, everyone's getting pushed around. And then unfortunately, an accident occurs.
Did someone go pee-pee on the floor?
No.
Anyone shit themselves.
Someone had a bit.
Did they break their butt on the stairs?
No, but it was a little bit the same, but not really.
Okay.
So a mate of mine, Jack, from one of the other bands, White Light Station, was headbanging, and he's going like this. He's going forward and back, forward and back. And then my best mate, Logan, who's the bass player in my band, is also doing the same thing. He's going forward and back, forward and back. Unfortunately, they were out of sync. So when he's going forward, Jack's going back. And unfortunately, what has happened is the two of them have collided with each other at one time with so much force that Logan has then split open his eyebrow.
Oof.
So much so that he is now pissing blood from his eyebrow.
Good dog piss
So someone was pissing. You lied.
It was pissing,
on the floor.
but blood. And from his eyebrow.
You were pissing.
Now, what?
So
Were either of them concussed? Because I hear a good thing to do when you're concussed is have a nap.
Jack was a
Don't do
little
that, you'll
dizzy.
die.
Jack was a little dizzy, but wasn't too bad. Logan, however, was a little woozy. So he has got blood dripping down his face. He's pretty drunk. And the band is pretty much just finished. I didn't necessarily see what had happened. I'd only seen the aftermath of the occasion. But I look over and I see Logan like go to pick something up off the stage. Also, it looks like he's picked something up off the stage. And then I just see he's covered in blood.
Nice.
So I was like, holy fuck, did he cut himself? Like, is he okay? Did he cut his hand open or something or whatever? Only to then see him like touching his eye and like seeing what's going on and like kind of started to work it out from then. But essentially what had happened was the cut wasn't so big, but it was deep. So it's like when you get in a fight, like with a fighter, like you watch a UFC, for example, and they strike near the temple and it hits the eyebrow and it cuts it open, they bleed everywhere. unfortunately, the skull's an awkward place to get in, like an injury, like a cut from, because it just does not stop bleeding. So Logan's now walked out of the set, just half of his face covered in blood. And everyone's like, holy fuck, is he okay? Is he okay? And he's like, fuck yeah, yeah. So there was a bit of panic because everyone's like, fuck, did he actually really hurt himself?
Wait,
Is he
wait.
okay?
Wait, Caden. Was there a panic at the disco?
What?
You mean a panic at the disco?
Yeah, I'm panicking at the disco right now because I don't know where this.
It's been
fucking
hilarious. So once
cockroach
again,
is.
if you're not watching the video, Joseph has just been up dealing with his dog, and Kobe's been freaking the fuck out looking for this cockroach.
It's no longer on the top of the
I'm
desk.
sorry.
It's not. It's not. I'm listening to the
All
story,
I want
but
is
it's
to
no
see
longer on
it.
the desk.
All I want is to see it climb across the camera.
See, I want it to fly in his face, him kick, and then just everything cut to black on his screen.
No.
Was it like perfectly cut screens?
Oh,
Slash
fuck.
perfectly cut screens.
So at the end of this, like, we managed to look at, like, actually clean the blood off of him. We've got some napkins, stuff like that, some tea towels to kind of clean him up. And we've had a look, and the cut actually wasn't so big. It was just deep. It was a tiny little cut. But
That's
it
what
was
she
funny
said.
when we originally looked at it, we were like, oh, it doesn't seem too bad. It's just a bit of a gash. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing too deep. And then a friend of ours got a flashlight, like on the phone, turned the flash on, and then went to go look at it properly.
Oh yeah.
And you just saw like a black hole, just where his eyebrow is just deep. And I'm like, oh. So for a while we thought it's top left of his eye.
Oh,
So
okay.
very corner, very
Yeah.
corner of his
right on the bone bit here, like that
Yeah,
bone that protrudes,
dead
Oh,
on the
yikes.
bone.
That UFC cut, that boxing
Yeah.
cut.
Exactly. So that's why I was kind of like, oh, it's not too bad. I don't think I'll need stitches. We rubbed ice on it to kind of swell it up and kind of stop the bleeding a bit, and dabbed it out with some paper towel and dried it up and put a Band-Aid over it. But then it just wouldn't stop bleeding. The Band-Aid eventually
You should have
got covered in
cauterized
blood.
it with a lighter.
I would have done it. If you gave me a lighter and a knife,
not
I can heal
Rocky.
any wound.
He's not Rocky.
I can heal any wound.
You
with a lighter and a knife.
underestimate
Rambo.
Logan and the boys up there.
We were kind of like, does he need stitches? Does he not? I was kind of
Yes.
dead
Here's,
set on he
here's what you
doesn't
do.
need stitches.
Here's what you do, Ken. You go to Woolies. You buy kids craft glue because they're gonna just glue it at the hospital anyway. You just kind of lube that bad boy up. And
We
fixed.
were kind of like, oh, he doesn't. I was kind of like, he doesn't need stitches. Other people are like, yes. Eventually, he didn't need them. It wasn't big enough to
They
need
good?
stitches, and it eventually did stop. They didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. It ended up fixing itself up. It was lucky enough that it wasn't big enough to really need any stitching. It was just the fact of how actually deep it was, because it was right on the corner of the bone. It had just split.
Damn.
So it was very funny because by the time we had like said our goodbyes, cleaned everything up, he was fine. By the time we'd actually said our goodbyes, all that kind of shit, and got back to the place that we were staying at, Logan at this point had lost like a decent amount of blood and was also quite intoxicated to the point of like he is just inaudible.
Mm.
You can't make sense of him. You don't understand what he's saying.
Like another
and-
friend we have. Blake.
Anyway.
Blake.
Audible.
Oh,
Sponsor us. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so to finish it off, we put the man to bed, and he woke up the next morning with the Band-Aid still on, just covered in blood. And we were kind of like tossing up, should we take him should we take him to the hospital, should we not? He ended up being okay. We didn't need to take him to the hospital. He didn't need to get glued together, fucking stitches, whatever.
well, no. You just didn't take him to the hospital. That doesn't mean.
Well,
he
we gave him
didn't-
the option to. We gave him the option to, and he didn't want to because it ended up stuck. Like it didn't hurt. It was numb, but it didn't hurt anymore, and it stopped bleeding. So he was kind of like, "Look, it's fine. If it gets any worse, I'll fucking go see a doctor."
Was this while he was drunk?
No, this was the morning after.
Oh, okay then. I was gonna say.
This is why we're like, we'll wait till the next morning and fucking sort of problem.
While he has the lack of blood, Kobe.
Yes.
Come on.
Okay, sorry.
Think of
Um,
others.
Yeah,
But-
and he's also probably hungover. I can't imagine.
It wasn't that bad. He man's a trooper. But yeah, that pretty much summed up my Saturday. And then Sunday I had to come back and work, so it was pretty funny going from that to then going to work.
Well, you ever lose a lot of blood? Because I have. It's whack.
Kobe had a
That's a
blood
lot of
test, and he's...
I had a blood test. There was
Is this the first time you've had a blood test?
Yes, it is.
I've
It
never
was-
had a
it-
blood test.
Coincidentally, this is also like the first time I've been to the doctors in like 4.5 years.
Wow.
Oh damn, we're gonna play that game. We're gonna play that game.
I mean, no, you
We're gonna
talk.
play
You
it.
keep telling your story. I mean, mine. See, yours is a digital zoom. Mine's like a physical in camera lens zoom.
Physical.
So, nope.
Joseph just moved his camera closer.
Yeah. So I went to the doctor the other day because I got a lump in my breast. It's benign, at least so far.
That's good.
Well, that's good.
And it's good that you don't have cancer.
Yeah. So I went to the doctor. She was like, "Yeah, you haven't been here in 4.5 years, lol. We're gonna go do an ultrasound." So I got an ultrasound on my titty, and that was a weird experience. You ever get an ultrasound,
Get a
boys?
Did you get
I've had an
a boner?
ultrasound.
And they couldn't find the
Uh,
baby.
I've had an ultrasound actually in a very interesting place. I might go into that
Is
conversation.
it your bum?
Is it the
Did you get an
groinal
ultrasound
region?
on your bum?
Let's say it's the lower half of my
Is it
body.
the testicular area?
Is it your bum?
It is totally the testicular area. Thank you for guessing it, Dan. You are the
Oh.
winner of tonight's Jeopardy.
Do I get to see the testiculars?
So they all right. So how that works is they lube the area and then they use a camera that uses radio waves.
They don't lube the area.
They
put
don't,
the
Kobe,
drill
believe it or
there.
not, it's called an ultrasound. I mean, I'm not going to get into it. You can...
So yeah. Whoops, lol.
They don't lube it so the
Um,
thing moves freely. That's it's neat.
Yeah, no, it's the gel. So yeah. Anyway, so I got it on my breast, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna investigate further. We're gonna do some blood tests." Little
Sorry,
did I
I
fucking
thought
know.
I could get past it. I can't get past this. Do you seriously think an ultrasound's radio waves? Let's break down the
No.
name ultrasound.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right.
They
Yeah,
might be
it's sound
ultrasonic
It's-
waves.
yeah, sound waves.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look, moment of weakness. Fucking. So then they were like, "We'll investigate further. We're gonna get a blood test." Little did I fucking know that they were gonna sign me up for every blood test that I needed to fucking get in my entire life. Long story
Well, you
short, I
don't
went
go
to,
to the doctors that long.
well, because like they have to rule out what it can and can't be as well.
Yeah.
That's
So anyway, so I went and got a blood test, and that shit was fucked. That shit was awful because it was 6 vials, maybe 7, but I think 6 to test different things, and like the first 2, gunning. You know, I was twitching in my lip a little bit. You know, I was feeling a bit
He's
wonky.
taken, man.
Yeah, I
He's
was-
feeling a little
are you
drunk
bad-
at this
are you-
point.
Are you bad with needles though?
Yeah, I'm terrible with needles.
Ah.
He's a little drunk at this point. He's like seeing double.
Well, you
Well-
see, he did various drugs to calm himself for the blood test. So
Exactly.
He was racking up.
That's a
in the
lie.
bathroom.
He didn't do any
No.
drugs.
A cockroach, man. It's I'm still scared. I'm still scared.
Lots of blood.
So yeah, so I was like maybe the first 2 vials I was gunning, and then after that lips started twitching, and like I was like losing vision, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. I started hearing things like just like white noise, like, and then my vision started to go, and then I got wet. I was sweating. I was
Excuse me?
drenched.
Excuse me.
I got wet. I was wet. That's how much I was
Didn't you come
sweating.
to give blood with like me and Cameron? Me,
No,
like,
I never
Cameron?
did. I
But you
never
didn't.
did.
You didn't give blood.
No, I never got.
Why do you hate
gave
people that
blood.
need blood transfusions, Kobe?
Bro, he couldn't do 6 vials. You think he could give blood?
I don't know how
Well,
much is
see,
in a
I
vial.
thought. How much
Not
is
as
a
mu-
vial?
Not as much as.
What?
they're
Not like a blood bag. It's
they're
not like.
little things. They're like
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna do some research. Carry on.
yeah. Okay. Do the research.
So like, but
many
my
vials
knowledge
in a
of
bag
my
of
knowledge, my knowledge of blood,
Tests.
of blood giving. Sorry,
yeah,
is that
no.
usually after.
So a blood bag, 450 milliliters. A vial, 3 to 10 milliliters. So you did barely 10%. Like you did like 15%.
Well, I didn't hydrate the morning of. So
Everyone in the chat, hydrate with
that's-
hydro homies.
yeah.
The one thing they tell you to do.
No, she said don't eat, and then but you can also drink water. Like, but also saying it like you don't have to, and I read that as probably for the betterment of my health and for the reliability of these tests, I will water fast too. Anyway,
No, that's the exact opposite of what you should have done. Because doesn't being
being
dehydrated makes it
dehydrated
harder to
fucks up
find the
your-
veins and shit.
Yeah.
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 So you're an
right.
idiot.
Yes, we've established this. Anyway, continuing on, I got the blood test. It was fucking wild high. But don't want to go through it again, even though I have to repeat a couple.
He gave
tests.
60 mils.
The results came back, and I'm fine with everything. My cholesterol's a little bit high, but that's just because I'm big. But also I have so the regular amount of testosterone lies between, I think it was like 5 and 11, the number.
Units of what? Of
Yes, I don't know. This is what the doctor was
teaspoons
telling
of
me.
cum.
This is right. My number is 3.5.
Ooh.
That's my testosterone level.
Are you gonna take testosterone supplements?
No, I'm not.
Oh, but
Anyway,
you could get a good beard.
and then no, hold on. And then this isn't funny, Joseph.
It's
This
not.
It's not.
It's
It's not very
not.
funny.
Explains a lot, but it's not.
But
fun.
this part is pretty funny. This part is pretty funny.
I was
The
thinking about
gland,
the beard.
Stop laughing.
the gland.
the glands. The glands.
Kaden's telling me to stop laughing as he's sitting there giggling.
This part is funny. This part is
Okay,
funny. The
okay.
gland that is typically it's in both male and females, but for females, what it does is it allows for lactation. Like that's its primary purpose. Not to say that I've been lactating from my titties. Nothing has come out of my
Coby,
titties.
can I drink your milk?
No, there is no milk. There is no milk in there, right?
But could there be?
But that
He thought it was sweat. He was
that-
wrong.
that range of the numbers, Mason, what do they mean? The range that it's supposed to lie in is between 35 and 500. I want you all to guess what my number was.
Is it 69?
No, it's not 69.
Wait,
Well,
so
wait,
is it
which one
420?
is for the girls and which one's like 35 to 500 is lower?
So I
for girls
imagine
by
that the
a-
lower is for lower number would probably be normal for males, and then a higher number would be normal for females. Yes. So what do you think my number is at?
I would say like 400. Just 'cause
All right,
I feel like it's
Kaden?
What's the range again?
35 to 500.
and 500 is like
That's
girls,
a
like-
healthy amount.
Is
That's
it
the health. That's
420?
the regular healthy amount.
I pick 420.
All
I
right.
want to
Okay.
say
Yep.
it's like around the 300 range.
It's 2,000.
What?
It's 2,000.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, chat.
What?
If someone donates 100 subs right now, I'll drink Kobe's milk.
There is no milk. There is no milk.
But could there
I
be?
don't lactate. It's the gland. It's the gland that that's its primary purpose. Look,
So
I'm
wait.
kind of just saying. So I have to get those tests redone because she thinks that's probably abnormal.
That doesn't seem like it should be right.
That's what I thought too. That's, you know when you're given a range
the
range of 35 to 500, I did not think that I was going to
You've
hear the
quadrupled
number
the high score.
2,000. Right.
Hit the new world record.
What three characters did you enter on like the arcade machine for the high score?
I did.
Try.
I did AAA.
No, lazy. I like it.
So this is like the amount of what
Of mummy
in that
milkies
place.
he has.
That is not what it is. That is not what it is.
It's milliliters per mummy milky per capita.
I'm gonna squeeze you until you exert.
That literally
Yikes,
nothing
that's-
will come out.
Well,
Nothing will
apparently
come
you've
out.
got 2,000 milks.
That's not. No,
I feel like these
no.
are arbitrary numbers.
Sorry, you have 2,000 abilities to produce milk.
I don't know what it is. Anyway, so I have to go for an MRI now. I need
Oh,
to go
that's
for a
gonna suck. If
repeat.
you couldn't give blood, you're gonna hate an MRI.
I've got.
No, MRI
I can
is
just-
fine.
I can
Don't
just
people
cover-
have like massive panic attacks in
Oh,
MRI?
you have to get the yeah. Oh, are you gonna have to get the needle with the dye in it? Because that shit hurts real bad.
Okay, thank
Don't
you.
scare the boy. Come on.
Oh, well,
Um,
no, because
I have to get a repeat. I have to get a repeat blood test.
I feel
and
like
then something
gonna-
else.
look, as much as this hasn't helped in the past few days, I'm going to be hopeful.
Okay, yes.
I
Thank
don't-
you, Kate. Thank you, Caden, for
doomed.
diagnosing
You're
me
actually
with
gonna
stage
die.
4 cancer. Thank you so much, Caden.
I'm going to say, look, I don't think it's anything like that. I think you've just had a bad test.
Fingers crossed. Caden's a medical expert. Everyone knows it.
If it was just one of them, like the low sort of low testosterone and not the other one. But because it's both,
You have low
I think
testosterone and
maybe
big
something.
milkies.
I feel like something went wrong.
Yeah, well, I always joked about me having low testosterone because of my woman-bearing hips, my child-bearing hips. Sorry,
Your hips haven't borne any women.
my woman-bearing hips.
These hips can bear women.
Well, Coby, do they suggest testosterone supplements?
No, they didn't.
Can you do
No.
testosterone supplements so you grow a full beard?
I don't
Wait,
want-
does that mean Coby needs to start taking steroids?
No, that's
opposite.
that's
He drinks semen.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. He actually would need it.
no.
Some
there's,
some steroids do increase.
Steroids are like the ultimate form of exercise.
So,
Yeah.
so kids, the lesson of today is don't not go to the doctor for 4.5 years.
I haven't been to the doctor for maybe
Steroids.
10.
That's
I
bad,
don't think I've been to the doctor for a while.
and that's a lie because you have been
Actually, no.
vaccinated.
I've been to the doctor.
I missed one of my
I
vaccinations
went to
at
the doctor
school.
recently as well.
Ooh.
Yes, I think so did I, Dan.
We,
I
got
just
it, and we were doing the Aquinas Day. I said our school name. We were doing the video day thing, and I missed one of the vaccines. I think.
I
never got-
I can't remember if we got
why.
it made up.
Okay.
I might have done it again later. I can't
I don't know if I got Hep B part 2.
remember. Well, I mean, I have Hep B, but whether or not I got the vaccine.
Speaking of getting euthanized by the government,
Mandalorian.
that's the exact segue I was going to make.
Oh, actually, how good was that fucking episode?
All right, spoilers by the way for live
Yeah,
chat.
if the people in the chat, we are going to spoil the season finale of Mandalorian.
We made it here. We're at the end.
By the Mandalorian,
fucking-
I'm referring to the TikTok Caden sent me where it's, oh no, we can't go because we need milk.
Mandalorian.
And that's when Coby stepped up to the plate.
Oh no,
Again,
baby
please,
Yoda drank all the milk.
I don't want to joke about my medical condition.
You brought it up in the wrong context
Is
for
it?
it to not be. You said this is the funny bit with the milk.
You said this is the funny bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, but also
Milkies.
I've now, I've now. Did you know cockroaches can produce milk?
Has one produced milk on your desk?
Maybe I don't know.
Coby's like, oh, this cockroach produced milk right on my shirt, right around here.
That's not funny. Kaden said, "Let's be hopeful," and now I'm going to. Now I've got 6 months to live, Joseph.
Anyway,
That's
man,
actually-
my past
Coby, that's-
experience.
Coby, that is
anytime
way
I'm
too-
fucking hopeful.
Coby, that's way
It
too
doesn't.
hopeful.
It
All right.
doesn't work out.
he's gonna. Your borders are gonna close Coby. I don't know what that means for a person, but generally when Caden's hopeful, borders close.
And then Caden's gonna be like to his girlfriend, "Hey, Summer, I'm hopeful that we'll spend the rest of our lives together," and then she cheats on him.
But he does it on purpose.
Oh.
Gave you my heart.
Caden gets in relationships just to break up with them so he can have
Right.
a good song.
I'm
Oh,
not-
Caden is Taylor
I'm not
Swift
fucking
confirmed.
Taylor Swift.
See, I cut out that middleman. I just like a girl, and then she fucks my best friend.
I wrote one song about a breakup, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, they're all about breakups.
Well, they are. Placebo's about a breakup.
With what?
What?
I
Technically.
gave you my soul.
How's placebo about a breakup?
I mean, it's about the aftermath of a breakup.
No, it
Lethal
wasn't
Envy
a
in chat
breakup.
called Coby the milkman, and I like that.
That wasn't the breakup. That was like 8 different things.
Anyway, the
more.
Mandalorian. At the
the
season
Back
finale.
track.
Megalodon. The Megalodon.
The Megalodon, the big shark.
Megalodorian was, I'm going to say it
raccoon.
now, was a good episode, but I'm a little disappointed.
I agree.
Okay, let everyone give you a top level opinion. So Coby agrees. I think it's maybe the best, not even maybe, it is the best piece of Star Wars that Disney has made while they've owned the IP. That's
But is
my-
Yeah,
that just
it made
because
me-
there's some fan service?
yeah, but it
No.
was earned.
Yeah, it was.
It was earned, I'll give
made
it that. And that's
It
why I
made
reckon it was
me
a great episode.
It made me love Star Wars again. I have
It's-
not taken my
okay.
Boba Fett helmet off, and I've
For that
dressed
reason.
up as a Jedi 3 times.
That episode was additive to the original material, not reductive like the sequel trilogy has been. It made me appreciate the original movies more.
I
Yeah,
agree.
good point.
I agree.
I thought I agree with you on the fact that there was really good fan service that was well earned and that we'd actually.
See, I
waited
don't like
for.
calling it fan service. That's like calling Avengers Endgame
wasn't-
fan service. It's what's not fan service.
Well,
It was story
it
beats
was.
that have been earned. It's not.
story
Yeah.
beats that have been earned.
Yeah, no, I
See,
agree.
fan
I-
service would have been like Luke in the first
Spoilers, by the
episode.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers. Yeah,
Very
We've
safe.
already.
fan
already
service
spoiled
would have been
it.
like an episode with Luke that doesn't have anything to do with the plot. That would be fan service.
Yeah, okay. Regardless,
Ahsoka.
I think the episode was okay.
It was different.
I reckon the redeeming factors were certain things like Luke and like the whole climax of everything, even the after credits, stuff like that was good. Everything that kind of led up to that point was a little like...
I don't know if I agree with any of what you've said. So the basic plot outline
I
of...
kind of agree that. I think it should have been longer. I think it should have been...
It was a little dead in the water, and it kind of felt...
God, I thought
It kind of just felt like...
And by the time, like when the stakes were at their peak, right? And you know, not to like take away from the epicness that was that final scene of Luke just trashing those dark
troopers.
Yeah, I had no reaction.
That was pretty cool.
It felt somewhat empty because like there was no struggle before, like there was no none of the characters.
Are you joking? Mando almost died fighting one of them.
Yeah, right. But then why wasn't it a bigger thing? And
they stole Baby Yoda. They've been looking like ominous for like half of the season, and then they almost killed Mando earlier in the episode. I don't know what more you want.
And I think that also they were showing how powerful Luke was, that because like you can see Mando getting wrecked by him and everyone else getting wrecked by them. And then you see Luke
comes in and
goes through them like...
Before we continue here, I want to jump to your points about the start of the episode. I really enjoyed like the whole episode start to finish. I thought it was paced fantastically.
Yeah, so
like the first kind of real bit was when Boba Fett and Sasha Banks were fighting in the bar. And I thought that was really cool because it made those characters fucking like... Whenever I see Boba Fett do cool shit, that's dope.
That was kind of cool.
The line about the side characters being allowed to speak fucking killed me. That was great.
That kind of stuff was cool. Before they got onto the ship was really well done. I think when they got onto the ship and there was like... The fight with the Dark Trooper was kind of cool, but there was just like... It felt like there was a bit of dead space, and then all of a sudden...
It definitely needed a slow point. Like, it needed to dip so that the crest could be even higher. Like
It felt like this was 2 episodes in one. That's what it felt like.
Disagree.
I just think it could have been 5 minutes longer. In that sort of middle scene.
Yeah.
It would have dragged it out, but I just think it would have been...
One thing I'll give them props for, they did the best, like... girl power, like they did the best version of that scene that's been done ever. The bit where it was Bo-Katan, her friend, Fennec,
her mate,
and Cara Dune.
Gina Carano.
Yeah, hates trans people, Gina Carano. When it was the 4 of them all fighting, it didn't feel forced. They except for Gina Carano, they've all been proved to be badasses. I thought the bit about her gun jamming was stupid, but
because it's a laser gun.
It's a laser gun.
They don't jam.
But yeah, no, I think that was awesome.
Played at Battlefront.
Well, I didn't pick up on the fact that it was like all 4 of them were women.
That's why it was good.
Yeah, until like there was that one egregious shot of them like...
There wasn't an egregious shot. They were all good.
Well, it felt, it made me
you can't
realize...
call it an egregious shot when like 95% of other movies that exist are all egregious shots of men doing cool things together.
Yeah,
I guess. But it was like that shot. It was that shot of them with the light in the background, and it's like that still, right? That's what I mean. Right? It only dawned on me then, like...
That's fine.
I think that was good. Like, oh shit, they're all women, they're all badasses, and it feels earned because they've proved this throughout all of the episode and the season.
That's what I mean. Like, that's
the only one. Like, I would compare it to the Endgame one, where that was
the Endgame one.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like the Endgame one was like...
Yeah, that was egregious. Sorry, that was... Yeah, that was...
I still thought it was egregious because once again, all those characters have proved themselves.
Yeah,
it felt like they tried too hard.
Because like, how did they all get to this one spot?
And how would...
Anyway, let's not dwell on this because this is a topic that might get us cancelled. I thought the gun thing was stupid. Until the Luke thing happened, this was already my favorite Disney Star Wars thing from the moment where he's fighting Giancarlo and he's like blocking it with his arms and shit, and then he pulls out the spear.
That was cool.
That fight was the best fight that Disney has done with Star Wars.
That fight was really well choreographed. I think they definitely...
I can't show nipple.
Why'd you bring attention to it?
Hayden, hide your nips. I want you to sit like this for the rest of the episode, please.
Okay. They played to the fact. They played to the fact of like, because it was confusing for a bit. The whole point of him coming onto the ship, taking Baby Yoda, I didn't understand for a while why he was just like, okay, take him, get away. And then when he turned on him, I was like, what? Eventually, after...
Can you explain that?
So what confused you?
When Mando arrived, and fucking Moff Gideon has Baby Yoda basically at gunpoint, but at dark
But
saber point.
instead of like it's a dark knife.
Dark saber point. And then he kind of just gives in and then lets him take Baby Yoda and then is like, psych, I'm going to attack you anyway.
I don't know why that's confusing. He obviously was just setting a trap and then wanted to kill him.
What the fuck's the point?
Well,
Because
it's tension.
Trying to set the trap.
It's You complained about the pacing, but then now you're complaining about a moment where they built tension.
So it was basically he was trying to get him to lower his guard because he knew that Mando obviously doesn't give a fuck about the Darksaber or anything. So he's trying to get him to lower
doesn't he
his
already
guard.
know that Beskar isn't really going to...
Yeah, but
He's not gonna
so
be
the
able
way
to
that he
do the
swung,
Beskar.
he was trying to decapitate him, which wouldn't have hit any Beskar. And Mando's he's actually proven himself to be a good fighter this season, and he was like expecting it, and he immediately put up and is blocking with his forearms. And then my favorite fighting style in all of Star Wars now is definitely someone blocking lightsabers with like their arms, and he was blocking with his head and shit. It just looks awesome.
It's like it was the Old Republic. That's the Old Republic where you can
Yeah.
block it with the hand. And you can like block a lightsaber like with a force hand and it cracks.
And then again, like him when he pulls out the spear, and then they have the best lightsaber fight where only one lightsaber was used. Like
And technically,
Yeah,
it's
you
not
have a
really a
point.
lightsaber.
exactly.
You know?
You have a point.
And that
I
fight was
just
awesome.
thought-
And then I liked how Moff Gideon was winning the fight. Winning the fight. Then Mando like got the upper hand, kicked him, and then boom, 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 knocked the saber out of his hand, and then got him at spear
Your
point.
hat fell off.
I know. I was too excited.
And then my favorite part was when he had him at spear point, and then Giancarlo Esposito went, "They're gonna kill Martha."
Oh, I thought it was going to go. No, too weak.
No, I was making a Batman v
He's like,
Superman.
why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name?
Grogu.
And then
No.
yeah, of course we got to the climax. As soon as
And then
when did you guys realize it was Luke Skywalker? For me, it was the
When I
second
saw
I
a
saw the
single
X-wing.
X-wing.
Yeah.
As soon as you see the X-Wing, I think that's kind of
I saw people online saying like, "Oh, it could have been fucking Ezra."
What?
Yeah, which doesn't make
No,
sense. He'd
wouldn't
be
he
on
didn't-
the
he
ghost.
never had an.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was 98% that I was like, I saw the X-Men, I'm like, okay, it's Luke. And I was like, wait, it could, like, they might
Oh,
be.
and then they made such a point of
Yeah,
not showing the lightsaber color or his face on the security cameras. I'm like, oh, maybe it's not. And I was
No,
like,
No,
but I always
No,
just
they
like,
did straight away.
Because
Didn't
then-
they? The first thing you saw.
they didn't
was
show his
the color.
lightsaber color for a while. I've
Yeah,
watched
no,
this
it-
part multiple
the,
times.
the sort of.
I knew it
Yeah,
for a
with
fact
things
as
around
soon
it.
as it was the hill.
Yeah, well, that was the moment when they showed
or
the
the
hilt, the green
hand-
blade came out, and then the robot hand.
Or the hand with the glove on it, and then the other hand with no glove on
It
it.
was just so fucking cool.
Yeah, it was because it
It
reminded
was
me
really well
a lot
done.
of the end of fucking Rogue One.
Well, I saw a Twitter video which put those two scenes next to each other, and it's the same choreography.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Ah.
It was done to like mirror. So that's what the point I was going to get to. I like how they evolved Luke's fighting style now that he's a master. To it's
Being
definitely like him kind of swinging it like he was in Revenge of the Sith when George Lucas didn't know how to choreograph lightsaber fights. But it does have like
Empire or Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Sorry, but yeah, you know what I mean.
That's it.
But then it felt combined with how Anakin fought, and then that Rogue One scene as well. Like it was the character progression for Luke that we have just been told happened, but now we actually got to see it. Like this was, we finally saw Luke being a Jedi Master, which is awesome.
We get him in, like, I like the fact that this kind of starts to tie in the rest of the shit. Like, I think you said it a couple episodes ago on the podcast where you're like, I think it's Dave Filoni or John Favreau.
Yeah.
They're doing God's work. They're tying all the bits and pieces that doesn't make sense in the actual movie.
They're doing what Dave Filoni did with
Clone
two
Wars,
and with
but he's doing
Clone
it.
Wars.
So I think this show has made me realize that I've been wrong. A lot of people have always said the most interesting like era in Star Wars that they want explored is like the time immediately after Revenge of the Sith. Return of the Jedi, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying the wrong one. Return of the Jedi. And I've always said no, I feel like we know what happens in that time, but The Mandalorian has proved me wrong. This is like the most interesting time in Star Wars.
I feel like there's a lot
Oh,
of.
I feel like Clone Wars.
Clone Wars,
actually-
or even like the 100-Year
Republic.
Darkness, or
like
Well,
like,
no, but like I feel like in terms of
Old Republic,
relating
yeah.
to the films, like I care the most about
okay,
the
yeah.
original
Oh
characters.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't give a shit about the rest. Yeah,
Fucking, I'm still upset that like, I saw another good tweet that was like, Luke picking up Baby Yoda sort of implies the fact that Baby Yoda is
Fucking
going
dies.
to
Yeah.
fucking die by the.
Killed by fucking
So-
Kylo and the Knights of Ren. I still wrote a subtweet to that that said, Baby Yoda, part of the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, but then Knights of Ren die in episode 9. So
Baby Yoda defects by then. Protect him.
Baby Yoda just has the world's biggest plot armor and is gonna
All
live
I'm
through
gonna say
everything.
is that he survived the first destruction of the Jedi Temple.
He's
irrelevant.
He can do it again. He would be the same size and shape.
No, I just found I didn't like the episode was good. I personally didn't like it because there were things that they did which was stupid. Like one of them was
You can't just say that. You need to back this up. I thought it was all
right.
very
Yeah,
good.
that's where I'm fucking going. Right. I'm not saying it's a bad episode. I didn't like it personally. Right.
But then you said that they did stupid things. What are the stupid things?
Like when Mando beats Moff Gideon and gets the Darksaber, and then he brings it to Bo-Katan, and then Giancarlo is on the ground, and they're like, and he goes to hand it to her, and he's like, ha 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 ha, evil laugh. You can't give it to her because it has to be won in combat.
This is the only thing I'll agree with. This is wrong. They changed the law.
Right.
Yeah, because in Rebels it's not that.
Yeah. Also,
Sabine
people are like defending.
Literally,
People are
gave it to
defending
Bo-Katan.
Rebels, and like people are like changing it up. Like Rebels is a bit of a different situation, whatever. Anyway, that's irrelevant. The fact is, like, you don't have to kill the opponent. Just fucking
defeat them. He literally just defeated. That was the only bit, because in Rebels, the way that Bo-Katan first got the Darksaber was it was literally given to her. So
yeah.
and then yes, he got the Darksaber by not killing, just besting in combat. So
Yeah, but then it's like, then it was also like, I don't know why they needed him alive. Like
it made that so much better with his narration. He's the best actor out of all of them in that.
Right. But in that moment, it would have been like more poignant to be like, well, not poignant. It would have been like better to. It would have made sense, right, for them just to smoke him and then be like, hey, everybody in this room fucking agree that like we can just give her the Darksaber and then.
No, but
the Republic needs him.
That's
He's a prisoner of the Republic.
Yeah, I know.
And they're going to interrogate him. That'd be silly.
But there were points in time where it's like, why are you letting him live?
Why didn't
like,
they knock him out sooner?
Yeah, that too. It was so strange.
I think I think the end of the episode needed about 2 more minutes, because we just see Bo-Katan get lit up and then lie on the ground, and then we never see her again.
No, she stands up. when I watched it again, I was like, because I remember you said it. I was like, I'm pretty sure
did she die?
No, she's standing up in the end, because when she gets shot, she just.
I feel like that needed a little more screen time.
That I will agree with, because it just kind of felt like bits and pieces just kind of got handed off. Like, fuck it, the important bits here, we'll have a look at that more.
And I think the big part that we have not spoken about yet was, what was your guys' opinion of CG look?
It was awful. I was terrible.
Big bad mouth.
He looked. It looked. I'm like, wow, that's a really convincing double of young Mark Hamill. And then the mouth moved, and I went, oh.
That was always going to happen.
So there's a concept called the Uncanny Valley, and what it is, it's when you make an image of a human face. It's like a thing in our brains. Our brains are like tuned to identify human faces, and then like because of that, we can identify when faces don't look correct very easily. Mm-hmm. So what actually happens is, the more realistic a CG model of a head is, like a CG model of a face is, the slighter the mistake, the more our brain is going to reject that image. So the fact that you're having such a visceral reaction to it actually means that the model was very good. It was just slightly off. So I don't think it was terrible.
The way the mouth moved was a little bit
looked unnatural. Yeah.
For me, it was the
voice.
voice.
A little bit.
Yeah, but they were never. Also,
I just think with the mouth, it was very kind of blocky. It was just kind of like.
A mouth's hard to do. There's like 1,000 bones here.
I will give it to them.
Bones?
They did do a really good. They did do a really good.
I thought it was excellent.
Job.
It was better.
Did a good job at making him look really, really good, and actually making it look like young, fucking
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
It was better than Tarkin. It was better than Leia. It wasn't. It wasn't
I wouldn't
as.
say it was better than Leia.
I thought no, it was better than Leia.
I thought Tarkin was worse than Leia. Watch
bad.
that movie again.
I watched it recently, and it's good only because it doesn't look as good. If that,
well, look, it looks more animated. He looks like an animated character.
Yeah, but it works in, because he's never in actual sets or anything. It's just usually just CGI, and because he's always shadowed.
Well, that's my point with the Uncanny Valley. The less real it looks, the more your brain will accept it.
Well, you
feel
know,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like it.
Anyway, my point was,
Because
it's. I think it's better than those two, but it's worse than Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War.
Yeah,
Which
like
is
with
weird,
his
'cause
head
that-
just floating.
Well,
Oh,
no, I'm talking about when
the
they
beginning.
youngified him.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I don't like.
That's
you know,
different because he was
it's-
the actor there.
They did
Yeah.
facial capture for Mark Hamill.
Oh, did they actually?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have. They
Oh.
would have had to. I reckon.
Okay.
Sorry. I reckon it would have been a little better for the series and actually built a little bit more if they had cast someone, because
That's
I feel like
that was where I was driving. So
even though him being CG is like, oh, it's old Luke, it makes it, or young Luke, it makes it fit into the whole saga and it's like a proper story and blah blah blah. I reckon that's fine. And they even did a good job of trying to make sure he didn't have too much screen time for you to be able to pick up. Like, this is a little budget.
Oh yeah, my favorite thing was like R2 came in and every shot of R2 and Grogu, like the framing was perfectly like just cutting off the head, but they didn't have to like do it from different angles and shit like that.
I feel like it would have helped and build the storyline and given them so much more to work with if they.
Well,
had
I think
cast
the
someone else.
fact them not casting it kind of means that we aren't getting a Luke and Grogu show.
Which
I
is
was
kinda
going to
disappointing.
say the contrary. If the not casting benefits, because if down the line they'd want to do a Luke centric show like coming out after.
Well, they committed to Rosario Dawson for Ahsoka.
Yeah, but that.
But I'm pretty sure
I feel like Luke isn't going to be
I mean,
a short-term
I was
thing.
saying like that was exactly my point, Joseph. They committed to an actor for Ahsoka because they're doing an Ahsoka show. They didn't commit to an actor for Luke, which makes me think they aren't going to do a Luke show.
But
I'm saying no, but I'm saying that they don't want to commit to they don't want to have an actor now when they're going to do the show a lot later, or they've got the possibility of casting someone for a show later instead of already having a cast. Like there's the continuity being held, like when it's jarring. It's jarring, like in
You cast someone for the sake of that episode, but then they actually can't do the full.
Yeah,
series,
like in the
so then you
finale
have to
of
pick another actor.
In the finale of The Boys season 1, spoilers by the way, go watch The Boys. Homelander's son is a different actor to the son in season 2, right?
Child actors are different to actors.
Yeah, I know child actors are a lot
But
different.
the same scenario applies. I get
exactly right. Like
the same scenario.
you get that weird continuity break where it's just a completely different person.
Anyway, we're kind of running a bit long in the tooth, so I do want to jump over to the post-credits scene. So we see Boba Fett go to what's the Jabba's palace? That's what it's called.
Most Eisley.
Jabba's
No, that's
palace.
not it.
That's
Whoa,
the town.
whoa.
That's the most wretched
whoa.
hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They go to Jabba's palace. They kill Jabba's homie who'd gotten fat. Now that was a nice little bit of fan service.
Yeah, I did like that.
And him and Fennec are on the throne. Fennec immediately getting wasted. And then
She doesn't have a stomach, doesn't she?
The book of no, she doesn't. But the book of Boba coming 2021. If we did this podcast one day ago, this discussion would have been a lot more interesting. But today they confirmed that the book of Boba is its own spin-off.
Oh, okay.
Short form spin-off series by the same writers as The Mandalorian.
So it's essentially a whole other series that
I think it might be like a
branch.
short mini series.
Like a 3
Just because of like the fan reaction to Boba Fett would be.
Yeah. What they think it was going to be?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, look. Be honest to yourself. It was very real that we could have seen it. Be like, nah, Fat Boba's crap, but they made him cool, so we liked it.
Nah, that's
Really?
true.
Really, with Tamura.
Tamura
Morrison.
Nah, it was cool.
How dare
But so we're getting season 3 of Mando potentially without Baby Yoda.
That's good.
I can deal with that. I can deal with that. I just
Yeah, I
because
can deal with
I don't know if
Mandalorian-
Disney's wallet can deal with that.
What? What? That's crazy talk.
Think
What?
about how much Baby Yoda merch. Look, I've got some right there.
Yeah, I understand that, but also I feel like Disney, the cunts that they are, I feel like Dave Filoni is so strong of a force, mind the pun, with Star Wars and his successes, that I feel like even without Baby Yoda, people are still going to want to watch the
I
show
disagree.
because they've also got so many other properties within the Star Wars universe right now.
So you're
It's
thinking
going to alienate alienate like wine mums and like girl.
Well, that's my point. So
Right.
Star Wars fans are definitely going to keep watching, no question. It was amazing fan service. This episode was for them. But it's the non-Star Wars fans who've been watching purely for Baby Yoda, and that's probably a good margin of the watchers. I know Brooke's only watching because Baby Yoda's in it. There's I've heard on various other podcasts, people have been able to get their significant others to watch the show. I think you're underestimating the percentage of people who are watching the show purely for that reason.
Yeah, but also like what are they gonna do? I feel like if they do
they
it,
could
it's
have
gonna
made
be
an actor for Luke and made him a character.
Yeah, right, but that would have been stupid.
Man.
In The Mandalorian, Luke is a reoccurring character. Like this random Mandalorian is now Luke's best friend
Well,
because
don't you think that the Mandalorian
share a
wields the
son?
Darksaber and the leader of the Jedis, so the leader of the Mandalorian and the leader of the Jedis might be an interesting dynamic considering they're ancient rivals.
Well, I mean, I assume Bo-Katan's going to get the Darksaber back.
I mean, that's probably going to be an interesting story arc in.
And also,
next
why
season.
wouldn't it have been like a thing for Luke to be in the sequel trilogy? Hey, Mandalorian guy.
Well, they probably deal with it. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah,
That's
anyway.
kind of why I was like,
sequel
they should have.
trilogy's a long time away. Yeah,
It's 30 years. It's 22 years after the Mandalorian.
yeah. That's why they've done this period. I think specifically is because they don't need
It's
to
early
tie
enough.
sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
They can do it for as long as they want and just say it was a year.
I think they going back to trying to cast someone. I feel like you could have had a good episode maybe with Luke and Mando and stuff like that. I'm curious to see where the series goes from now. Do you reckon they go back to Mandalore and do all
I
that?
think it's going to be a Mandalorian.
It's definitely going to be more about the Mandalorians and not about Baby Yoda. Because now that we have Mandalorians, I think we're going to get Sabine. We'll get pretty much any Mandalorian that's been represented in the Clone Wars or Rebels is going to be represented in the show.
Except for the ones that are dead.
Character.
Yeah, well, obviously not the ones who are dead. And I think this is definitely going to be, more about the politics of Mandalore.
Okay.
Cool. Politics in Star Wars, sign me up.
How liberty dies.
With thunderous applause.
Well,
Your new empire.
we are running extremely long in the tooth here, so I think this will be an appropriate time to wrap it up. Coby, where can the kids find you?
At _5 Coby55 _ on Instagram and at South _ bound _ band on Instagram and at Coby _55 on Twitter.
Joseph,
yeah.
where can the children find you?
Just give me one moment. Joseph is out of town.
We're going to jump to Kaden quickly. Kaden,
I will be Joseph.
Kaden, where can you find Joseph? His house.
You can find Joseph at Via Garibaldi on Instagram.
Spell it. Try.
Via Garibaldi on Instagram.
Here we go. I'm happy. I'm glad we waited.
He
for
makes
this.
great
He's so
pizzas.
good to
by
me,
the way,
Ted.
I'm yet to try one. Boba Fett, when can the kids find you?
Tatooine.
You can find him December 21st on Disney Plus.
2021.
20. Oh, maybe it's not December 21st. Maybe I put the 21 in the wrong spot in my brain.
No. It's December 21st. No, you're right.
Okay. Anyway, Kaden, where can they find you?
You can find me on my band. I don't really use my personal anymore. Verum.band at Instagram.
We're putting a single out on the 15th of January, which is really exciting.
Scar tissue that I wish. Is that the song?
Scar tissue.
I was doing Red Hot Chili Peppers. You can find me at DanielF737 on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow the Slalt Cast on your favorite podcast services. Do that, please. You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/SlaltCast. Our YouTube channel, which does not yet have a vanity URL. So if you're hearing this, go subscribe to the YouTube channel so that we get the subscriber count to do that. Otherwise, you just go via the Instagram, I guess. Instagram at SlaltCast, Twitter at SlaltCast, our Facebook page, SlaltCast. It's all there, all the important information. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we do these podcasts live now, which is awesome. So if you want to catch it live, Twitch. If you want to watch it later, YouTube. If you want to not see my butt, audio podcast services. Coby told me he had comedy, so we're going to let him do that. He's just standing. I think he forgets this is an audio medium.
Yeah, because you were speaking, and I was setting up the visual gag, and then, like, the visual gag was like the cockroach had come back, Why'd you
again.
point it out? No,
Do it
it
again.
doesn't.
Ignition
No,
is
it doesn't
running
work.
too long.
It doesn't work the second time once
I
they
need
know
to
what's
go
going to
back to
happen.
Jabba's palace.
Thanks for listening. Please remember to leave a positive rating wherever you're listening from, and to follow our socials at Slalt Cast on Twitter and Instagram.